Canon Controls is your gateway to mastering LabVIEW. Dive into programming for data acquisition, industrial communications, and manufacturing automation. Explore how to enhance your projects with cybersecurity best practices. Join the journey to elevate your skills and secure your systems with every episode.
Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the personnel security control families of NIST 800-171 and what those can mean for a LabVIEW developer. So there's only two controls here. We have screen individuals prior to authorizing access to organizational systems containing CUI. So we just need to screen individuals before they are getting onto computers, to test stands, into RT targets, stuff like that could have sensitive data. And then the other control would be that ensure that organizational systems containing CUI are protected during and after personnel actions such as terminations and transfers. So if someone leaves the company, whether they get a new job, get fired, whatever it is, just making sure that their accounts don't exist, whatever credentials they might have, permissions, making sure that someone else couldn't leverage those to gain access to CUI. Or if someone is in a certain role and has a high level of privileges and then they move to a different role, making sure that those privileges reflect their new role. So if they no longer need some of the permissions they had before, kind of clearing that up. So obviously the majority of this is going to be a function of your IT teams, and actually in this case also your HR teams. So screening individuals, that can largely be done during a hiring process. So making sure that these people, doing your background checks, et cetera, making sure that these people can have access to CUI. You don't have any concerns there. So a lot of that is going to be handled by your HR teams and your IT teams. And then as far as, managing accounts, if you're talking Windows accounts, right, it's largely up to your IT team when someone leaves the company or transfers roles, to make sure they either delete those Windows accounts, archive them in some way, or if someone's moving positions, adapting their privileges accordingly. So the majority of that's going to be managed by your IT teams. There are some instances where I think this does bleed over into more of like a test and measurement world, and that's going to be when we build kind of our own login tools for different systems. So we could have a test stand where we're having users go sign into the test stand software. They're entering in like a username and password or something like that, and that grants them access to the software. We also need to be making sure that, hey, if that person leaves that area, that maybe they move to a different department in the company and they don't need access to that test stand anymore. Well, we need to make sure that we're clearing that out. And if someone leaves the company, we need to make sure that their permissions, their credentials, whatever it might be, gets cleared out accordingly, so they can't be exploited and someone else couldn't use them to gain access to the system. Also, to another partial degree, screening individuals prior to authorizing access to organizational systems containing CUI. I think that can also relate to making, and this depends on the test stand to a certain degree, but making sure that people receive the proper training and certification necessary to operate the equipment. So some stuff's pretty touch and go, and you can just click, hey, run it, and it's good to go. Some stuff you might want to have some sort of proper training on everything. And so making sure that people can run that equipment properly, control CUI. There might even be depending on your test stand, right, there could be pop-ups where people are entering test results and whatnot. And so making sure that they know the importance of that data and whatnot, so that they're not sharing it, and it's staying protected, and they're not, allowing other users to leverage their credentials or something like that. But that would be the personnel security section of NIST 800-171. Thank you for tuning in.